Today we'll use the classic Rider-Waite deck, which pretty much anyone who's had any experience with the tarot has probably seen and more than likely given quite a bit of time to. In fact, I just learned some things about the Rider-Waite deck. I won't spend a whole lot of time on that, but apparently he was the first writer, Arthur Waite, who designed, well, he didn't actually illustrate the cards, but he set up the pictorial key to the tarot. And it was his idea to pictorially illustrate the minor arcana cards with scenic representations as opposed to the standard 5 wands on a white background or something more simplistic, but this was not always the common practice. Of course, now many decks use this approach. It's become kind of fun, and I find that people even feel that decks that don't use this method lack in creativity or ambition, which I used to think, but then I started using some of the more traditional pip-based decks, and have found them really helpful and insightful. Excuse me. So today I'd like to actually go in reverse and ask, whose judgment should we feel most concerned with? Judgment concerns, of course, something new, the completion of a cycle and the moving on to something else, wherein we've gone through the process of death and transformation and rise as something new. It makes me think of a phoenix. We've been through the trials, we've been through the tribulations, we've been through all the heartache and chaos, and now our attention, like plants growing up through the darkness of a subconscious, break through toward the light of self-awareness and growth and more potential. But whose judgment should we worry about? This process involves a lot of that, as many of you no doubt know. I want to take a look from this future vantage point and look back over the course of life, or the course of a cycle. And if we find that what we've done, we've enabled ourselves to do so well that we can actually contribute to the welfare of others or the help of others, and that doesn't necessarily mean money. That might mean putting up cool tarot videos on YouTube that gets people's minds going. That might mean sharing art that gets people to look differently at themselves and their place in the world and their potential. That could mean the poetry that you write. That could mean the listening ear. That can mean any skill that you use and develop and utilize in your environment that betters yourself. Charity starts at home, right? But that you can then use for the benefit of other people. If we look back and see some struggle, some good struggle, some difficulty that leads to creative output, that breaks us out of our comfort zone and allows us to bring new, more fulfilling things into being, don't those speak well of what we've used as fertilizer on the plants of ourselves? I think that if we can look back and see this as the present or the very near future, and we can see something pleasant and productive and good from which we came, which didn't hurt anybody, preferably, I think we've done pretty well. And we should look over that and ask ourselves, how can I enhance that? Because I've come to the end of something here. I'm the start of something new. How can I use that? How can I enhance that? How can I develop those things that I've learned along the way for the next go-around? And if we can't say that we've seen good things, no time like the present, ask yourself, what can I change? Use those answers to develop a plan. Perhaps a creative plan. Perhaps those questions will act as this 5 of Wands to get you out of your comfort zone, your less productive, your less creative, your less fulfilling comfort zone, and into something that, while not necessarily the most comfortable, at least at first, will provide more fulfillment and satisfaction in the long run. Ask yourself those questions, figure out a plan, and follow up with yourself at regular intervals to see if things have improved, and if they have, how to keep going. If they haven't, well, then you've succeeded in learning what doesn't work, and you can move on to the next idea. But you haven't failed. Don't forget that. I consider this a pretty inspiring and powerful reading, and I hope that you do too. If you do, feel free to check out the other videos. Check them out. Subscribe so you can see when we put up a bit more. Still planning to make this a much more regular thing, and I look forward to that. And I certainly appreciate your patience, comments, as we set about making that into a reality. Until next time, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you soon.